The quiz was supposed to be a joke. A stupid online perfect partner test that popped up on my phone while I was sprawled on the couch, scrolling through X late one Saturday night in our tiny Portland apartment. But when Ethan's score flashed on the screen 30/100, with a snarky comment about room for improvement, something in me snapped. I'd always been the planner, the one who mapped out our future with the precision of a cartographer. Ethan, with his crooked smile and endless playlists of indie folk, was the dreamer who stumbled through life like he was chasing a melody only he could hear. We'd been together for 3 years, ever since we met at a queer poetry slam in Seattle, where he read a piece about loving someone like a song you can't stop humming. I fell hard that night, drunk on his words and the way his hazel eyes caught the stage lights. But lately, his chaos missed dates, forgotten promises, and that infuriating habit of leaving dishes in the sink had started to feel less like charm and more like a burden. The test was the last straw. I'd spent weeks feeling like I was carrying us both, and that 30 out of 100 felt like a verdict on our entire relationship. So, I ended it. Clean. Sharp. Like ripping off a Band-Aid. I told him to pack his stuff and go, my voice steady even as my chest ached. Ethan just stood there, his hands stuffed in his hoodie, looking like a kicked puppy. You're serious, Lucas? He'd whispered, and I'd nodded, ignoring the way his voice cracked. Now, 2 weeks later, he's standing outside my door, rain-soaked and shivering, his fist pounding softly against the wood. Lucas, please, he calls, his voice muffled but raw. I know I messed up. Just let me in. I freeze, my hand hovering over the doorknob. The apartment feels too quiet without his guitar strumming in the corner or his off-key humming in the shower. I thought breaking up would feel like freedom, but it's just left me hollow. I crack the door open, just enough to see his facerid-rimmed eyes, wet hair plastered to his forehead, and that same damn hoodie he wore when we first kissed under the Fremont Bridge. What do you want, Ethan? I ask, my voice colder than I mean it to be. He swallows hard, water dripping from his chin. I took the test again, he says, holding up his phone like it's evidence. I studied. I got an 85. I can do better. Lucas, I will do better. I want to laugh, to slam the door, to tell him a stupid quiz doesn't fix 3 years of frustration. But the way he's looking at me, like I'm the only thing keeping him tethered to the world, makes my resolve waver. I step back, letting the door swing open wider, and he steps inside, dripping onto the hardwood floor. We sit on opposite ends of the couch, the space between us a chasm I don't know how to cross. The rain drums against the windows, a steady rhythm that fills the silence. Ethan's hands fidget with the hem of his hoodie, and I notice the faint scar on his knuckle from when he tried to fix our old coffee table and ended up with a splinter the size of a toothpick. I didn't think you'd actually leave, he says finally, his voice barely above a whisper. I thought we were stronger than that. I clench my jaw, the anger bubbling up again. You thought wrong. I was tired, Ethan. Tired of being the one who always had to hold it together. You didn't even try. His eyes flash, a spark of defiance breaking through the hurt. I did try. Maybe not the way you wanted, but I tried. I stayed up all night writing you that song for your birthday. I drove 2 hours to get your favorite coffee from that shop in Olympia when you were stressed about work. I'm not perfect, Lucas, but I loved you. I still do. The words hit like a punch, and I look away, staring at the faded rug we picked out together at a thrift store. I want to believe him, but doubt is a heavy thing, and I've been carrying it too long. Love isn't enough, I say, my voice shaking. It's not a score you can just improve. It's showing up. It's keeping promises. Ethan leans forward, his elbows on his knees, his face earnest. Then let me show you. Give me a chance to prove I can be what you need. Not for some dumb test, but for you. I don't answer right away. The rain keeps falling, and the clock on the wall ticks too loudly. I think about the nights we spent tangled in each other's arms, whispering about dreams of traveling to Iceland or opening a little bookstore together. I think about the fights, the way he'd storm out when I pushed too hard, the way I'd shut down when he didn't meet my expectations. We were a mess, but we were our mess. I don't know if I can trust you again, I admit, and the words feel like glass in my throat. Ethan's face crumples, but he nods. I get it. I needed you to know I'm not giving up. Not on us. He stands, his movement slow, like he's waiting for me to stop him. When I don't, he heads for the door, pausing with his hand on the knob. I'll be at Jamie's place, he says softly, if you change your mind. The door closes behind him, and the apartment feels like it's holding its breath. I sit there, staring at the spot where he stood, wondering if I just made the biggest mistake of my life. The next morning, I wake up to a text from Ethan. It's a link to a playlist titled For Lucas. I don't open it. Instead, I throw myself into work, trying to drown out the ache in my chest. I'm a graphic designer, and my latest projector rebrand for a local queer youth center keeps me busy, but not busy enough. Every color palette reminds me of Ethan's eyes. Every font choice feels like a nod to the poems he used to scribble on napkins. By noon, I'm restless, pacing the apartment like a caged animal. I open the playlist, and the first song is the one he played for me on our first anniversary, strumming his guitar under the stars at a campsite in Oregon. The memory stings, but it's the good kind of pain, the kind that reminds you you're alive. I call my best friend, Mia, who's been my rock since high school. She's a no-nonsense bartender with a heart bigger than her attitude. And she doesn't sugarcoat things. You're an idiot, she says when I tell her about Ethan's visit. You dumped him over a quiz. Lucas, you're smarter than that. It wasn't just the quiz, I protest, but even I don't believe myself. It was everything. He wasn't reliable. He didn't fit into my life. Mia snorts. Love isn't a spreadsheet. You don't get to check boxes and call it a day. Ethan's messy. Sure. But he's your messy. And you're not exactly perfect either. Mr. Control freak. I hang up, annoyed but unsettled. She's right. And I hate it. I've always been the one who needed control, who needed everything to line up just so. Ethan was the opposite. And maybe that's why I fell for him, because he made me feel like I could let go. Just a little. That night, I drive to Jamie's place, a cramped loft in the artsy part of town. I don't know what I'm going to say, but I know I can't keep sitting in that empty apartment. When Jamie opens the door, he looks surprised but not unkind. He's in the back, he says, jerking his thumb toward a small balcony. Ethan's sitting there, strumming his guitar, the city lights glittering behind him. He looks up, and for a moment, we just stare at each other, the weight of everything unsaid pressing down on us. I listen to the playlist. I say finally, my voice barely audible over the hum of the city. He stops playing, his fingers hovering over the strings. Yeah, I say, and then, because I don't know what else to do, I sit down next to him. I don't know what this means. Ethan, I don't know if we can fix this. He sets the guitar aside, turning to face me. Then let's figure it out together. No tests. No scores. Just us. I don't have an answer. But for the first time in weeks, I feel like I don't need one. Not yet. We sit on Jamie's balcony until the city quiets. The only sounds the distant hum of traffic and the occasional clink of a beer bottle as Ethan sets it down. He doesn't push me to talk, and I'm grateful for it. Instead, he tells me about a new song he's working on. Something about second chances and broken clocks. His voice is soft, like he's afraid to scare me off. And I realize how much I've dismissed him. I'm not saying I'm ready to jump back in. I say, breaking the comfortable silence. But I'm here. That's something, right? Ethan's smile is small but real. The kind that makes his eyes crinkle at the corners. It's everything. Lucas. We don't kiss. Don't touch. But there's a warmth between us that feels like a promise. When I leave, he walks me to my car, his hands shoved in his pockets like he's trying to keep himself from reaching out. I drive home with the windows down, letting the cool night air wash over me. And for the first time in weeks, I sleep without dreaming of what I've lost. The next few days are a blur of tentative steps. Ethan texts me good morning, and I reply with a photo of my coffee mug, the one he painted with tiny stars for my birthday last year. We meet for coffee at a little shop near the youth center, and he tells me about a gig he's got coming up at a local bar. I tell him about the rebrand project, how I'm designing a mural for the center's community room. It's not like before. Not yet. But it's something. On Friday, I invite him to the youth center's open house. It's a big deal, the mural's being unveiled, and I've poured my heart into it. Ethan shows up early, wearing a button-up shirt that's slightly wrinkled but clearly an effort. He grins when he sees the mural, a vibrant explosion of color with silhouettes of people holding hands, their shadows blending into a rainbow. This is incredible. Lucas, he says, his voice full of awe. You're incredible. I blush, brushing off the compliment, but his words linger. We mingle with the crowd, and I notice how easily he talks to the kids, how he listens when they share their stories. One of them, a shy teen named Riley, tells Ethan about coming out to their parents and getting kicked out. Ethan's face softens, and he shares a bit of his own story, how his dad didn't speak to him for a year after he came out as bi. I've heard it before, but seeing him connect with Riley, giving them hope, makes my chest ache in a new way. After the event, we walk to a nearby park, the autumn leaves crunching under our feet. You're good with them, I say, nodding back toward the center. You'd be a great mentor. Ethan shrugs, but there's a spark in his eyes. Maybe. I know what it's like to feel like you don't belong anywhere. I want to help them find their place. We sit on a bench, watching the sun dip below the horizon. I think about the test again, that stupid 30 to 100, and realize how small it seems now. Ethan's not perfect, but he's here, showing up in ways I didn't give him credit for before. Do you think we can do this? I ask, my voice barely above a whisper. Be better. Together. He turns to me, his expression serious. I think we can try. And if we mess up, we'll try again. That's what love is. Right. Not giving up. I nod. And when he reaches for my hand, I let him take it. His fingers are warm, familiar. And for a moment, I feel like I'm home. But love isn't a straight line. And we're not a fairy tale. A week later, we're back to arguing. This time over something stupid whose turn it was to pick the movie for our Friday night in. Ethan wants to watch some artsy French film, and I'm pushing for a Marvel blockbuster. It escalates. Because of course it does. And soon we're dredging up old wounds, me need for control, his tendency to flake. You're doing it again. I snap, pacing the living room. You say you'll change, but you're still the same Ethan who forgets half the things he promises. His jaw tightens, but he doesn't yell back. Instead, he grabs his jacket and heads for the door. I'm not doing this tonight. Lucas, call me when you're ready to talk instead of lecture. The door slams, and I'm alone again, the silence deafening. I want to call Mia, But I know what she'll say, that I'm pushing him away because I'm scared. Scared of being hurt. Scared of trusting someone who might let me down. I pour myself a glass of wine and sit on the couch, staring at the playlist he made me. I don't play it. The next morning, I find a note slipped under my door. It's in Ethan's messy handwriting. I'm sorry. I'm trying. Meet me at the pier at 6. I stare at it for a long time, torn between anger and hope. I don't know if we can keep doing this, but I know I don't want to lose him again. At 6 p.m., I'm at the pier, the salty breeze tugging at my jacket. Ethan's already there, leaning against the railing, his guitar case at his feet. He looks nervous, his fingers tapping a rhythm against the metal. I wrote something for you, he says, picking up the guitar. It's not finished, but I wanted you to hear it. He starts to play, and the melody is soft, haunting, like the sound of waves against the shore. The lyrics are about fighting, falling, and finding each other again. His voice cracks on the chorus, and I feel tears prick my eyes. When he finishes, the small crowd that's gathered claps, but all I can see is him. I don't want to keep screwing this up, he says, setting the guitar down. But I need you to meet me halfway. Lucas, I can't be the only one trying. I step closer, the distance between us shrinking. I know, I say. I'm scared. Okay. But I'm here. I'm trying too. He nods, and we stand there, the ocean stretching out before us, vast and uncharted. I don't know what comes next, but for now, this is enough. The weeks that follow are a delicate dance. We're not back together, not officially, but we're something, two people trying to rebuild what we broke. Ethan starts volunteering at the youth center, helping with their music program, and I see a side of him I'd forgotten. The way he lights up when he's teaching. The way he makes everyone around him feel seen. I keep working on the rebrand. And sometimes he'll stop by with coffee, lingering to watch me sketch. One night, we're at the center late, setting up for a fundraiser. The kids are gone, and it's just us, stringing fairy lights across the ceiling. Ethan's standing on a ladder, his tongue poking out as he tries to untangle a knot of wires. I laugh, and he grins down at me, the kind of grin that used to make my knees weak. You're staring, he teases, tossing a stray bulb at me. I catch it, rolling my eyes. You're a mess. Yeah, but I'm your mess, he says, and there's a question in his voice. I hope I'm not ready to answer. We finish the lights and sit on the floor, surrounded by glitter and poster board. Ethan pulls out his phone and plays our song, the one from the pier. I lean against him, my head on his shoulder, and for a moment, everything feels right. But moments don't last. The fundraiser is a success, but it's also a reminder of how much work we still have to do. Ethan forgets to confirm the band he promised to book, and I end up scrambling to find a replacement. When I confront him, he apologizes. But it's the same old story, good intentions. Bad follow-through. I'm trying. Lucas, he says, his voice strained. I don't know what else you want from me. I want you to show up. I say, my frustration spilling over. Not just when it's easy. Not just when you feel like it. Every day? He looks at me, his eyes searching mine. I'm not perfect. I never will be. But I'm here, and I'm trying. Isn't that enough? I don't answer, because I don't know. We leave the center in silence, and when he drops me off at my apartment, he doesn't come in. I watch him drive away, his taillights disappearing into the night, and I wonder if we're doomed to keep repeating this cycle. Mia drags me to a bar the next weekend, insisting I need to stop moping. The place is packed. All neon lights and pulsing music. And I'm halfway through my second beer when I see Ethan across the room. He's with Jamie and a few others. laughing at something someone said. He looks happy, lighter than I've seen him in weeks, and it twists something inside me. I don't approach him, but our eyes meet. And for a moment, the noise fades away. He excuses himself from his group and walks over. His expression unreadable. "Didn't expect to see you here," he says, leaning against the bar. "Mia's idea," I say, nodding toward her where she's flirting with the bartender. "You look good." He shrugs, but there's a flicker of something in his eyes, hope. Maybe. Or hurt. "I'm trying to be okay, Lucas. But it's hard without you." The words hang between us, heavy and raw. I want to reach for him, to tell him I miss him too. But the fear is still there, a wall I can't seem to climb. Instead, I say, "I saw you with the kids at the center. You're really good with them." He smiles, but it's tinged with sadness. "Thanks. It's been good for me. Keeps me grounded." We talk for a while. About the center. About his music. About anything but us. When the night ends, he offers to walk me home, and I let him. The streets are quiet, the air crisp with the promise of winter. At my door, he hesitates, then pulls me into a hug. It's warm, familiar, and I hold on a little too long. "I'm not giving up," he whispers before letting go. "But I need you to decide what you want. Lucas, I can't keep chasing you if you're not ready to catch me." He walks away, and I stand there, my heart pounding, knowing he's right. The next day, I start therapy. It's something I've been avoiding for years. But Mia's been pushing, and Ethan's words won't leave me alone. The therapist, a kind woman named Dr. Patel, asks me what I'm afraid of, and I don't know how to answer at first. But as the sessions go on, I start to see it. I'm afraid of losing control, of loving someone who might not fit into the perfect life I've imagined. I tell her about Ethan, about the test, about the way he makes me feel alive and terrified all at once. She listens, nodding, and then says something that sticks with me. Love isn't about finding someone who checks every box. It's about finding someone worth building a new list with. I think about that for days, turning it over in my mind like a puzzle. I think about Ethan's crooked smile, his stupid playlists, the way he showed up at my door in the rain. I think about the kids at the center, how he gives them hope just by being himself. And I realize that maybe I've been holding him to a standard I don't even meet myself. I call him, my hands shaking as the phone rings. When he answers, his voice is cautious, like he's bracing for another fight. "Lucas, can we talk?" I ask. "In person. Tonight." He agrees, and I spend the day pacing, rehearsing what I want to say. When he shows up at my apartment, he looks nervous, his hands stuffed in his pockets like always. "I've been an idiot." I start, the words spilling out. "I thought I needed you to be perfect, but I was wrong. I just need you to be you. And I need to be better, too." Ethan's eyes soften, and he steps closer. "Are you saying what I think you're saying?" "I'm saying I love you," I say, my voice breaking. "And I want to try again. For real this time." He pulls me into his arms, and I bury my face in his shoulder, breathing him in. It's not a fix, not a fairy tale ending, but it's a start. We move slowly, like we're learning each other all over again. Ethan spends more nights at my place, his guitar taking up its old spot in the corner. I try to loosen my grip on control, to let the dishes pile up for a day or two, to laugh when he forgets to set the alarm. It's not perfect, but it's us, and that feels like enough. One evening, we're at the youth center, helping the kids plan a talent show. Ethan's teaching Riley how to tune a guitar, and I'm sketching posters with a few others. I catch Ethan's eye across the room, and he winks, a small gesture that makes my heart skip. I realize I'm smiling. Really smiling. For the first time in months. After the kids leave, we stay to clean up, and Ethan pulls me into a slow dance in the middle of the community room. No music. Just the hum of the heater and our footsteps. We're gonna be okay. Aren't we? He murmurs, his forehead against mine. Yeah, I say, and I mean it. We're gonna be okay. Months later, we're at the talent show. The room packed with families, friends, and supporters. Riley takes the stage, their voice shaky but strong, singing a song they wrote about finding home. Ethan's beaming, his hand squeezing mine under the table. I think about the test again. That stupid 30 to 100. And I laugh to myself. It doesn't matter anymore. Ethan's not a score. Not a checklist. He's the person who makes me want to be better. Who reminds me that love is messy and worth it. After the show, we walk home together. The night air cool against our skin. Ethan stops under a street lamp, pulling me close. I love you, Lucas, he says, his voice steady. Not because of some test, but because you're you. I kiss him, soft and slow, and it feels like a promise we're both ready to keep. I love you too, I say, and for the first time, I'm not afraid of what comes next. We don't have all the answers. We'll fight. We'll stumble. We'll make mistakes. But we'll keep showing up. Keep trying. Keep building something real. And as we walk hand in hand through the quiet streets of Portland, I know that's more than enough. The rain starts to fall, light and gentle, and Ethan laughs, pulling me under an awning. We stand there, wrapped in each other, the world soft and blurry around us. I think about the signpost from the image prompt, the one that said love is a choice. And I realize we've made ours.